Okay, peace from the Tanya 23 experience. We are live this evening, this Sunday, and hoping everybody is ready for this discussion. Where this week we're talking about Black business. Um, I don't want to say that we don't support each other. It's not looking too promising from my end, but that's just a small part of the perspective. But so my question would be, are we supporting each other? Um, what is it looking like out there? Can you guys help me out with forming an opinion of how this is going? Are we supporting each other? Our small businesses? Is networking um, going well? Because, like I said, from my perspective, it leaves a lot to be desired. It's a struggle for me to work with our people in the business field. So, um, help me out.
I agree. I agree. But what it looks
Go
like
ahead,
from my
sister.
end, when you say what does it look like, it just depends. It's sporadic. It never is are the people who you think it will be. So sometimes you'll think it's coming from like your friends that know the people in your hometown. People that know you out here trying to do it, and they'll ignore you on purpose. But sometimes it comes from the sprinkled in people that don't know you, but it's not a lot. It's not an abundance because some people will ignore you almost because they know it's you. It just be, like it's almost like people only support people they think that they'll gain something by being associated with. So they clout chasers. And you'll wonder why one person got 5,000 and then you don't have, but whatever. You know what I mean? And it's that. So I don't know what the remedy is. So hopefully we can, just kind of build on that. But that's what I see too, especially online.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I know for me, I've been self-employed for a while, and whenever I hit close to the six-figure mark, I try to start hiring other Black people, because the ultimate goal is to hire as many Black people as possible. So I look for my sisters who are single parents, or um, those who might, uh, I just look for people who could benefit off of having stable income. And it's been challenging because what I found is half of them are they start taking my clients, and before I know it, they're launching businesses.
Right.
And
Wow.
so it's like, and I had somebody tell me that they wanted to do a tell-all book about me. And she was my assistant. I was like, go for it, but it's like, so there are some, and when I work for Black owned businesses, it's been more difficult than working with white people, honestly, because the ones that have the budget to pay you, um, they don't like to pay, and sometimes they do, and you know I had one time because I, for the most part, I'll only work for Black people, um, and I had one time that it was a lot of colorism in the conversations. Like, she was my boss, but every time there was a conversation, it would be like your light skinned self, or like there was the colorism conversation coming up at work, or people trolling your page in work, like, well, why were you at this event? If you all that, why you working with us? I don't understand why you would give up the glitz and glam to come work with us people, super stuff, because they don't really understand. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge working with, like, in corporate settings. White people get on my damn nerves, but I know what to expect from them. I know they're gonna ask to touch my hair. I know they're gonna ask some ridiculous question. Oh, what are you eating today? They're gonna ask something stupid. But Black people, they just, it's just a whole different beast.
Mm.
Well, with me, I have to fund my own organization and I have to pay for everything out of my own pocket. I don't so much as mine. I don't ask nobody to support me because they know what I'm trying to do. And if they wanted to support me, they would just go head on out there and do it. So I personally, I don't mind helping other businesses, but for what I am doing, I feel like, trying to save a child's life or trying to give a homeless child or a child that's been sold into human trafficking, trying to feed them, clothe them, and do all of that. I shouldn't have to ask because everybody know what I'm doing. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like even with my organization, what we do is we go out there and out of my pocket, I buy the homeless people food. I buy them clothes, warm clothes for the winter time. I do a lot for them, so, but however, as I said, I don't mind, helping someone else out, but I also have to look out for myself and I have to make sure that what I'm doing is taken care of. And I think we should support each other, but I understand, that everybody have their business and all of that, but like I say, even though I don't mind supporting other Black businesses.
Mhm.
Well, my take on the business aspect of it is, I think it's predicated on the services and the product of which someone has to offer. It's the time of the year. It's the when we talk about monthly, people getting paid bi-weekly, weekly, semi-weekly, semi-monthly. So that take all of that plays a role in business. And when you're an entrepreneur, we all look at that when we were selling. Because I know when me and a buddy and I was trying to go into business and dealing with Black folks, with us, we have a tendency to always want to look for, where you say, a handout. Really, they want to bargain with you. But if they go anywhere else and it's people of not of our ethnicity, then they'll pay the full price.
Right.
But with us, they don't expect to pay the full price only because we Black. But
Mhm.
that's not how you do business. If you're gonna do business, take your emotions out of it, take everything out of it. Look at it as what it is. It's business. You're exchanging something for something. So a lot of times, as I say, there's certain circumstances that predicated on us being entrepreneurs, what's gonna sell and what's not gonna sell.
That's right.
Okay. Um, hello? Hello?
Yeah, you gotta,
Can anybody hear me?
yeah,
Yes.
we hear you, Chuck.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Uh, um, well, it's the difference between business and cause. Like Sister Elaine said, what she's doing is for a cause, which should be fully supported in economic, financial, emotional, mental, physical support. On the other hand, you got business, and a lot of businesses, that's what it is, a business.
Mhm.
And the goal of business is to create and generate profit and revenue, but for who? Because most businesses are profiting for themselves. When people um, have knowledge of self and they begin to develop uh, compassion for the people that are unfortunate, that becomes a cause, and the cause is far more, it outweighs the business like 100,000 to 1, because that service of serving the cause. See, that cause is that's a form of our people that are in utter desperation and in utter need. And so to be there to support that cause and to serve that cause is far more different than a business. See, everybody can put their products up online, and but where the proceeds going? Are the proceeds going back into the Black community or in your back pocket? And so a lot of times, and then we'll use the excuse that we don't support Black businesses. It's not that, it's just that the people that have Black businesses don't lay out a format in terms of how it's going to benefit the community as a whole. Now, we know all other ethnic groups are not going to do that. We already know the plays that they run. They're not for us. They're not going to get nothing back to us. They're here to take, bleed the community, and move on to the next Black community. But when we talking about Black businesses, because once again, where are the proceeds going? What percentage of your product or whatever business that you have, what percentage of it is actually going back to benefit the Black community? How much is going back to the Black community? What the purpose of it going back into the Black community, and what the goals and agendas are once those particular monies or resources are filtered back into the Black community. This is one of the main reasons why we have this. It's not we have this hesitation into indulging in one another, and that's just another layer that's placed on top of self-faith and the trust that we have for one another. That's more like putting the nail in the coffin to use that as an excuse to support one another. Now, I support Black businesses because I support Black businesses. But I'm not going to, I don't have the time and the resources nor the energy to help someone portraying as being part of the Black community when they only about themselves. And I've seen that over the last 20, 25 years of people having all these amazing products and ideas and cleaning people's credit up and all of this type of stuff. And there's nothing ever said about how it will benefit the Black community. Even just doing a talent show for children, not just the cookouts and all that. We do that now. That's innate in us through slavery. But to have spelling bees, have the children challenge their own intellect, have forums set up like that, but the proceeds from Black businesses can actually, the community can see the manifestations of it, and that will make them more encouraged to support Black business. Because that's basically a call and to say that we don't support Black businesses, and a lot of people that say that don't actually haven't really even had any experiences in supporting Black businesses. You only can speak on that when you personally have had or invested into a Black business or businesses, and you saw no results in terms of how communities going to benefit from it. So it's a difference. Once again, it's a difference between Black business and Black cause. We should always support Black cause, no matter what. When people are sponsoring food drives and coming out their pockets, and people living on fixed incomes and cutting that in half to buy diapers and to buy the pens and stuff for the elderly, going in.
What do you get, kiddo?
Yes. Brother Sankofa dropped off.
He's not in.
Here we go. Yeah.
A bad
Here we
signal, I guess.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, when people that are actually 10 toes down in the community, I mean, actually in the community, in the projects like we do, and like other quite around the country, such as Ken Wild and others, are actually down in the grips and in the trenches of the community, so they can see not only the service that the people are trying to provide for them out of their own pockets, but it also give them hope, because our people, we've lost trust in one another. And even on social media, we try to outdo one another, try to one up each other. It's a collection. Nothing's collective. And I've watched from 2002 to 2024. I've watched a decline in the unification of Black people just on social media alone. Now, I'm not talking about, in the streets and in entertainment, sports, or any of that. I'm just talking about basically on social media, how it has become a cutthroat, poor me, hate everybody that's doing something. Let me outdo this person. Let me find dirt on this person. It's become like a big Willie Lynch convention, with all of this combination of this self-hatred, greed, corruption, slander, lies, and I refuse to fight until us supporting one another. So when Shantae was talking about being in the Neanderthals wanting to touch your head and stuff like that. All that stuff is valid, because this is what they do. But when we sign up for that, when we sign up to engage and to work with those folks, that comes with the package. When you with a Black corporation, you know that the refrigerator is gonna be filthy. It's gonna be you're gonna see the difference. But we sign up for these things. And I tell people to, look, just stay focused on the goals. If you're feeding people, if you're clothing people, if you're in astrology, if you're doing gematria or tarot cards, forming coalitions, if you're dealing with the political agenda, if you're fighting against Congress or whatever, stick to the goal. And me personally, when I see people that's standing on their foundation and they're firmly entrenched in what they know that they know that they know, then I ride with them until they cross me. And that's just the honest truth. That's just the honest truth about things. Like all of you on this show, I have a vested interest in y'all. Because today is, everybody's watching the football game. So it's not important to them to the point. But you all are, this is a life, this is a journey. This is denial of self. This is a rejecting and against your low selves and carnal desires and socialism that corrupts our minds and soul. You all have taken the time to suppress it, because it's really important. You know that sun is going to come up tomorrow. We're blessed to see that solar cycle again must continue. So I'm hoping I'm making sense in some type of form to y'all, but that's just my spiel on that Black business.
Yes, that was definitely packed and full. I jotted down a couple of points. and we talked about, you mentioned uh, just the state of being able to spend money with each other. I think that if there was like a central network, because like, let's just face it, when we want to spend our money with everybody else, we don't have to go looking. It's common knowledge, their businesses. Our businesses are not so, common knowledge. And so there is not like a central place where if you wanted to spend your money with a Black business, you would have like a resource of Black businesses. So I think that's one thing that we actually need. And then also within our communities, we would just have to know each other in our communities and know what our services and what we have to offer, because not all of us have the big office buildings and whatnot. So it's through networking that we even discover that we have, services to offer. And a lot of times we share our talents while we're on other jobs and we meet, one another that way. So I think that that's a big thing, is that we don't have a central network of accessing our businesses, where you would just be able to go to a certain place and access, Black businesses. That I think that would help greatly, because I think that if we have knowledge of what we're doing, we're more prone to spend with one another, not to, is my experience. Because it's most of the time that people don't even have a clue of what you're doing. And even if you told them the one time, I guess life is life, and so they don't remember or whatever, but you got to continue to market yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to continue to keep saying the same things to people for it to stick. Has been my experience. Selling my own products. I find that I expect, because I'm putting it out there on social media or whatever means, I guess I'm expecting them to know what we have, what I have to offer. Okay. My daughter's here real quick to pick up my grandchild. So y'all discuss that one thing real quick. And while I hand off the baby, I'll be right back.
All right.
I've had her since Friday. This is the moment I've been waiting on. I'll be back.
So
All right.
I'll agree with what Shaka said, with what General Shaka said. But the only thing I'll say is there's businesses and there's causes, but you can take a cause and make it a business so that you can generate revenue from it. So whether it's human trafficking, whether it's domestic violence, like we see this every day with nonprofits. But the problem is people think that nonprofit means that no money, and that's not true. And you can run a nonprofit without grants. Grants puts the government in your pocket. I have a service-based business, but I run into the problem with, frankly, most Black people are like, consultant, what does consultant mean? I can say I'm a consultant and they'll want to sit there and have all of these meetings with me. They don't want to pay my fees, but they want me to give them all of my knowledge that I've learned from either lived experience or from education, and they don't want to pay me. And they think that buying me a lunch or giving me compliments makes it okay to not pay me. But, I remember I had no money. Recently, a couple of months ago, I had $0, like -0. But I had a white Russian guy who wanted to take me to lunch. Actually, he took me to lunch and offered me $200 million to put into a fund so that I could finance other Black businesses and help them to get started because they don't know how to access our community. And I had a hard firm no, because no matter how quote unquote gifted or talented or smart or educated or special or all of the things that I tell myself, that stuff don't matter. Like, you still a token, and you still a tool, and you still being used for something. And what are you being used for? Because if these businesses fail inside of the 200 million, you've now given the Russians access to a whole community of Black people that they never couldn't touch. And every day, you know, and that's a lot of money, and life changing, life altering. And one lunch, I was like, I'll pay for lunch. I'm good. He's like, you sure? You know, and it was, and I was like, and the person that introduced us, I was like, you better be careful with him because he got some stuff going on and he needs a Black face so that when shit hits the fan, you the person on the auctioning block and not him, you know. But you know, we all have different approaches. I've been exposed to so many things and to so many levels of business, whether it's the startup, you know, I went to, and this is what I mean, like I got court mandated when I went to jail the first time. I was court mandated to 12-step, and I've never done drugs. But I feel like because at some point I funded my businesses because I had a drug dealing boyfriend who would give me money. And that's how I was able to start doing business, is because I had a drug dealer boyfriend. So now that I'm on the other side, I feel like it's my social responsibility to make sure that the recovering addicts have a place to go. So I launched with 2 recovering addicts. We launched the clubhouse that stayed in existence for 12 years. It burned down last year. So how do you do that? It's a business. You just pay, like, it's like $150. Find some bylaws online. I'll supply you with bylaws. You know, rewrite the bylaws, draft it. Now when you see someone in recovery, now it's winter and it's snow and stuff. Like, collectively, they find a building, they rent it out. You know, all of the paperwork and stuff, I handled it each year. But they have a clubhouse. They can go and have their dances, their fish fries, their fundraisers, do whatever they need to do. $150 in a couple of meetings. I did a logo. I did some bylaws. I did some articles of incorporation, you know, and my legacy is I got to help some recovering addicts have a place to go when they might not have anywhere to go. It was the I-20 Clubhouse on Columbia Drive in Atlanta. So, you know, like, and half the people in recovery didn't know that I did that, because you don't have to announce it. Like, that's the other thing. We got to get out of every time we make a move. I did that. Like, you know, when you out here, people will know what you're doing. Only thing I say, though, is just make sure that when you make a move to the community, sometimes, you know, that week I remember my son was like, Mom, we don't have groceries. I was like, I know. I said, this is a good time for y'all to learn to fast and pray. But I just walked away from $200 million and used the last of my money to pay for lunch, to let that white man know that he's not about to buy me. So, you know, sometimes you got to make moves like that. And it might piss off some people, but whatever you committed to, you got to stand on it. And just because you see people doing good in the community, gotta sometimes look at that paper trail. Where is it coming from? Because you might see people feeding. I've seen Black people feeding lots of Black people, thousands of Black people. I work with some of these people, and that paper trail comes back to the same white people who are coming in to gentrify our communities. So, you know, just be mindful, and all money definitely ain't good money. And don't always accept the carrot. And I ain't saying all white people are bad. I ain't gonna say that. But what I'll say is, if you're the only Black person that's there at Thanksgiving and Christmas, you're probably the token, and you only there for a certain reason. So let that be when y'all are forming these businesses and these alliances and moving the agendas forward.
Well, if you're the only Black person, then, you know, you should leave.
Exactly.
Because you already know what the play is. You should bounce.
But you,
You
I don't
know.
know. Sometimes
Yeah, that-
information and knowledge is power because it's always good. Sometimes these days they don't invite me, but I've been the only Black person in the room. I don't assimilate. That's what scares me, is in understanding that I don't assimilate. Like I had a holdings company when I was 29. I had just gone to jail. I was living in Dixie Hills, which is right past the Bluff in Atlanta, and with my holdings company, one of my partners was American Indian, the other was Black. And this white guy wanted me to buy some sugar for him because when you broker, it's called brokering, you can make a lot of money off of something as simple as sugar, snow peas, like they'll sell anything. And they wanted me to run guns. He came to the hood, like I was in the hood. Like he came to the hood and got me. And they wanted me to run guns through my holdings company. And he took me to the attorney general's house. So sometimes it's all right to be in those meetings because you don't know what you don't know unless you allow yourself to be in those meetings to really see what's at hand. What they said was she don't, she's just somebody's girlfriend. She don't know too much of nothing. I mean, she don't know nothing. And they took me back to the hood. But in that moment, he did make the offer for me to run a large quantity of guns through the Black community while the attorney general was working on a murder and a drug trial. So, it is what it is.
I hear that.
Please say something before this panel ends because I want to make sure I'm representing what I want to say correctly. You said
Sure.
that you were speaking of the lack of support in the Black community amongst other Black people. And I shared a similar view on certain things because it's not a black and white issue. It's really not. I understand what Brother Tashaka is saying because when you support people, they will support you back if you stay at it. But if you just think that people are going to support and you never give back that love, you will not be supported. And if it's a cause,
Right.
you got to make people see that the value in what you have. Because Black women definitely support me, but they support me in private. They won't give me flowers openly. It's like they're embarrassed to say that they support me. So I've been supported by them, but it's not, it's not a thing where, something's working. I pay my bills with Black women supporting me, but it's not just Black women. You know what I'm saying? I have to do other things to make that business work. So, or Black men or whoever, you know what I mean? But it is a lot of pettiness in our community. It is. And I'm not going to say it's just like not, but at the same time, people will support you if you put the right frequency out. Eventually, the ones that are in your frequency will support you. But it has to be a give and take thing because that's an exchange. That's what Brother Tashaka talking about. Also, the way we present. Are you coming professional? Are you, is your business up to par? Are you giving a service that people can, really benefit from? Are they picking flies out their suit? We have to be real with stuff like that too, the quality of what we're putting out. But at the same time, there's a lot of jealousy in our communities because there's a lot of people with low self-esteem and they have to work on that. We have to make, give that, we don't have to rub things in people's face or none of that either. But, there's certain people they will support, but if they think you Raggedy Ann, they want to keep you Raggedy Ann. But they'll support Miss Fine or Mr. Big Stuff or whoever it is. And I've seen that, like a Sinetter. He can keep a big following and people support him just because he's Sinetter. But then they got other people that have something of quality and they don't get that same support. So I've seen it on both kind of ways like that. But they'll support you if you continue to be consistent and you show love too. And they're gonna have people that feel they'll support.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to make it like no people support because they do, they'll support, but it just
We're very clicky. We're clicky, tribal,
very clicky,
whatever you want to call it. That plays a big hand in it also. And then you've got groups that funnel down from the cliques and, you got the churches, you got the mosques. They can only buy Muslim supplies from each other and the church people and whatnot, And
New York stuff have voodoo on it.
Yeah, God forbid they cross sectors or whatever. And then you got groups within groups, you know.
Right.
You know, it's just I guess you kind of gotta get in where you fit in or form your own group. We got Brother Tashaka. I don't know if you got to hear that last part, brother, but we were talking about the cliques and the tribalism that goes on as well. You know, the Muslims have to buy from the Muslims and the Christians alike, and you know, just you know, the groups that like the Ravens, they gotta buy all of their purple products from a Ravens fan. You know, it's just what we just take the smallest things to categorize ourselves, and then we have to please others by staying in those categories. If you look around, it's huge groups and it's billions of dollars getting caught up in that. So you got to kind of compete and go into these places. Like little me with my product, I might go into a place that's making you know, a bigger amount than me. I'm trying to vend at this big event, you know, they're making the overall millions. Small me, it gives me an opportunity for $100 or so to get this table where I get to compete with 30 other vendors that might even be selling the same thing that I have. It's just, you really do earn your money. You really do earn your money when you're in business for yourself, you know, or you are your brand or whatever it is. You really have to hustle. And one thing I figured out is it's hard. You know, it can be done, but it's hard. And it all depends on how you're getting your funding. Me, I was working on a job supporting my entire family and trying to build a business off of the crumbs from the master's table. So to speak, right? My own crumbs, right? Because I'm the master and I'm trying to build something off of the crumbs, you know. But lo and behold, it actually worked, you know. And I find that the factor was because I was consistent, you know. And most of the time, it didn't look like I was going to make anything of it. And then those were the times where I got like a quantum kind of leap into the next direction or into an avenue that, you know, brought new opportunities. You know, I kind of said, after I got a broad scope of, okay, this is what families going to do with it. This is how friends are going to treat it. Let me see. I might as well go for the gusto. I found that it was easier to get into retail. I found it was easier to get into bigger business than it was to deal with my people and get this little smaller amounts of money. I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced something like that.
I have.
It made a lot more sense for me to just let that go and pursue what I needed to do in the world, in the rest of the world, not just the Black world, but the rest of the world. And I actually found that the rest in it, and it was sad because the rest of the world invested in me and bought my products way more than my people ever did. Now that didn't make me go bitter towards my people. I kind of just took it and I really couldn't apply it to economics to say, oh, my people don't got it like that. I couldn't say that.
You know what though, Queen? I was thinking too, sometimes sometimes we have to almost be anonymous, and that's sad. Like, but you keep your site clean. You have what you do with the community,
Right.
but have a separate thing that's clean, just your logo and what you promoting. And they'll have people that will support you that generally wouldn't because they don't know it's your business. And that's sad.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Faceless. That's
Yeah.
the best way. Mhm.
yeah, because I'll be
Well,
moving like that on certain things because, you know, they'll do it just because it's you, you know, or just because whatever, your scarf too colorful, you know.
Right.
well,
You know.
well, with my business, I have collected more money from than I have Black people. I have not received one penny yet from a Black person. So
That's sad.
I get donations from the other people. And it does to me because of what I'm doing. It doesn't matter where the money is coming from as long as I can do what I have to do for our children.
Right. Achieve
I
the
mean,
vibe.
race doesn't play
Yeah.
in my business.
I agree.
You know, it ain't even because if I waited for us to do it, it ain't gonna get done.
Mhm.
It will not get done. So whoever donate money to my organization, you know, I'm gonna stay on the good side. I'm not saying that I'm gonna, you know, just be lovey-lovey, but I'm gonna hold a nice relationship with them because I know where my money is coming from, where my funding is coming from. And another thing is that most Black businesses that's within the Black neighborhood, you can have a store here, and Arab can have a store on the corner. Don't you know that they're gonna bypass your store and go and spend the money with the Arab?
Yep.
Yes. What is that all
They're gonna
about?
bypass you.
It's jealousy. It's
You know, or
straight jealousy.
either you can have a boutique store, a clothing store, you can have anything in the Black neighborhood. They're gonna bypass you and they're gonna spend their money in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna remember that's one of the reasons why the Black neighborhood don't have anything, because whatever we get, we take it, we give it back to them.
It's like they don't value each
And
other.
like I said, exactly. Again, I don't care who give me money to open my home for our children. I'm not gonna turn it away. I'm gonna take that money because it's not for me. It's for those children out there. It's not for me. I don't look to money in my pocket, but the money that I have taken out of my pocket will go back into my pocket. And the rest of the money, whatever the donations I get, it goes towards those kids. Do you know that we have a child missing every 40 seconds? Do you know that we have 2,000 children going missing every day? Do you know that we have 460,000 children going missing a year? It jumped up from 2,000 a year to 460,000 a year. Now these children are gonna have to have a place, and I'm not gonna be selfish and don't support those children. The hell with everything else. They need us. And it doesn't matter where the money comes from. If a white person want to give me the money to put in the school, then that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm
So
going to do.
what I'll say is motives do matter. If a white person gives you the money to put in a school, do they control anything? Are they just donating cash? Are they now wanting to come in and develop curriculum? Are they wanting to control the teachers? Like, so there's a bigger conversation at hand.
Well, first of all, my school and my everything is already set up. When a person make a donation to you, that's a donation. They're not asking to buy into anything. And like I said, it doesn't matter where the money comes from as long as the money is for the children. I'm not gonna just give my business or what do you call it when you go in with somebody? I'm not that stupid. Only stupid people do stuff like that.
I understand.
Only
what you're saying,
stupid people
Elaine.
emerge their businesses and their companies with somebody else without reading the real fine print. This is Elaine Riddick's Sister Sanctuary Shelter. The Rebecca Project belongs to Elaine Riddick. And it's not for sale and it's not for share.
So, Sister Elaine, my comment was in no way to take away from your intellect. All that I'm saying to you is it can be yours 100%. And sometimes there are people who will give you a monetary donation. And at some point, they may feel like there is a favor involved. So although you may have drafted up whatever you've drafted up and created whatever you've created, it could be just to have access to their network for that dinner party. And I'm not saying that that is what it is. This has just been my experiences. For you to even have a seat at some of the tables comes other conversations. And sometimes it might show up in one day, and sometimes it might take 10 years for that conversation to show up.
I really appreciate what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying, and I'm listening to what you're saying, but that's not what I'm doing. And that's not going to happen with my organization. I'm not even going to go in that direction with my thoughts. I'm not going to I'm not even going to entertain that.
Okay.
Because this is my heart.
Everybody's heart is
my dream,
everybody's heart is into change for our people. Most of the people that we associate ourselves with are for change within our people. And no matter what anybody says, personally, I've never taken anything, never taken any grants, never applied for anything, because there's a sense of entitlement at some point, especially when things begin to have a positive effect and it begins to impact the lives in a positive manner of others, especially our people. However, there are those that you have that don't look like us, that are filled with guilt from slavery, that really, when they make those donations, it's really our ancestors' money, but they funnel it and they will give it to us with no strings attached, where it shouldn't be no strings attached anyway, because it's our ancestors' money that they've been living off of. Situations like that, you take that money and you prosper with it. But when we talking about grants and people wanting to work with you, quote unquote, work with you, and I understand your cause and I'm with you peoples and all that bullshit, most of the times, not all the times, but most of the times, you have to leave room for betrayal in so many ways. This is why we're on this show tonight, because the six of us collectively together, we could really impact. This is why I anytime any of you all are on any platform, it's in my energy. When I feel that y'all are sincere, I'm gonna blow y'all up as far as I fucking can do it. That's what we're supposed to do. And that's why, like I was telling Elaine when she's on the lives, how she makes the comments. Don't ever stop making them comments. You don't know how positively the positive impact that you have on the people that are not even tuned in, that are just watching the comments, how it affects them. Sometimes the comments touch the people more than the host. And we have to look at that, because this is what drew me to Cola. Energy. See, people, once we move our emotions and deal with principles and deal with what's really inside of us and make that connection with the universe, we're able to have a clear view of what these plays are. Right. And everybody, we're going to have difference of opinions and all that. but not to the level where it creates dissension. Because people that are watching are waiting for some level of dissension to take place. So we are representatives of so many people, not even including our beloved ancestors and our family members and our brothers and sisters. We are representative of a community of people that are dying. And
Right.
when they see some form of unity, because a lot of our people they on the edge, they on the top of the mountain, and they've lost all their strength. They got one hand on the rope, and the rope is slipping out their hands. But if they can get some glimpse of hope to reach that other hand out to pull them up, that's the difference that we're sent here to make. I'm gonna tell all of you, none of you gonna be wealthy. You can forget that shit. You can forget that. It's not gonna be no multimillionaires, because and when you dealing with white corporate structures, we give them too much credit. We give them too much intellectual credit, because all they do is have conventions, dinners, congressional hearings on how they can steal. That's because you're not gonna be a multimillionaire or billionaire without doing some serious goddamn stealing.
Yeah.
That's just or you're gonna cut some throats. You're not just gonna come up like that. It's not gonna happen like that. So
be in bed with somebody.
Yeah. And then you stuck here on earth because your soul has nowhere to travel because it's gone. So that's, and if people willing to do that, that's on you. Good luck to you. But we all have this, and I don't say this to rally the troops or none of that, because I done been around some of the most renowned scholars that ever existed, not just that ever existed, warriors. And we have to learn that discipline of self-love. That's the first thing. Second, we gotta look at each other and see beauty. I enjoy looking at y'all. I enjoy looking at my brother because I see me. See me.
Another.
Go ahead, Elaine.
Hey, let me say something before you get started, Elaine.
Is that
Elaine, can I say something before you get started? I think that with all us coming on here, Shaka said something very pertinent, and I like sitting back listening because I want to be a student. And each and every one of y'all, when I hear y'all got something beautiful to say, and y'all look beautiful. It's the things that come out you and that shows what you have inside. Like you say, your vibrations, your energy. That's what I look for. And the things of it is that now, as we've been here sitting as a community, because this is a community, and this community is to help each and every one of us out. And I know sometimes, as he said, you're gonna say something, but we can't take it offensively. We got to take our emotions out of it. It's how I can help my sister. How can I help my brother? That's what it's all about. If we start closing our minds off to what's going on around us, we're gonna fall into that morass before we even know it. And Shantae, she said something real important. If you think them presidential campaign people ain't bought and paid for, then I don't know what you're looking at. Because they gonna always do what somebody else then donated something to help them get started. Because as they say, the favor is gonna come down the line. And with you, I understand what you're saying too, because you're gonna protect yourself. But you know what? The machinations of Satan is always clever. Them white folks don't stop when they come. They are very clever. They can put somebody inside your organization, could be one of your teachers, is just watching how the organization flows, how the organization maintains, who's maintaining this, who's keeping the track of this. And you know what? Before you know it, you'd have imploded on the inside, and you don't even know what happened.
But they use the black, but Gerald,
Huh?
most of our movements and organizations been taken down by people that look like us.
Yes,
They
exactly.
look
That's
like
what I'm
us,
saying.
you
Just
know.
like us.
And
so
and I wanna just speak on the Sister Cola with and I hope that some sisters get on board and allow her to mentor them into, you know, this energy, you know, energy and this spiritual energy. Because sometimes when I watch her show, I can tell that she can look at somebody and see monsters. I mean, physical monsters in people, you know, and it's you know, it's deep. And this is why we crumble and fall. This is why we're so able to be infiltrated. This is why people are sent to us to infiltrate and report. I had to get rid of about 4 or 5 people this year alone. You know, like I tell people, I give them opportunity, but there's no second chances. There's no coming back. We can't fix it or none of that. You know, because you're not hurting me, you're hurting the people. You're hurting the people. Bringing dissension, gossip, backbiting, you know, watching like they may watch Sister Aset, and Ra, and just try to, you know, find anything to throw salt in the whole play. And this is why I tell everybody, if your skin ain't thick, this is the right time to bounce. This is the right time to bounce. And there's more sisters than brothers that are fighting. And this is why most of my last 3 videos have been on sex trafficking, child trafficking, child abuse, child torture with us. You know, and tomorrow I'm going to be talking about some things, but I encourage y'all to come on that sister show tomorrow at 9 p.m. and tune in. You know, we gotta, if you want to be supported, you gotta support. You know, we gotta see change and progress is doing the shit you don't feel like doing, but it needs to be done. You know, not on our time, but the time. You know, this is how life works. Struggle, progress. You can't lift weights all day and expect not to be sore. You know, this is just how it works. This is just how life works. And we're going to have to learn to put everything that we have, our contributions on the table, information, everything on the table, so we can build together. Because each and every person on this show has a lot to contribute to the liberation and salvation of our people. I'm telling you this now. You know, the last 2 years, I met some uniquely divine people. And I met some tore up from the floor up. They can talk real good people. You know, I met some deranged people that I'm not even going to discuss because they no longer exist in my universe. But they can never say they never had the opportunity to be sitting on a panel like this. They can never say that. Because a lot of people don't want liberation. A lot of people want just to remain in the lie. A lot of people are comfortable with being demented. We have conformed to negativity. We have conformed to being uncomfortable. We have conformed to whining and complaining. We have conformed to just yell a white man all goddamn day. This is why I always say, you yelling at white man, that's emotional. Which white man you talking about? Which white group? Which white organization? And then when you finish that, point to the black organization and the black people that are they're doing the same amount of work to keep us oppressed as these so-called white men. And so, you know, it's important. It is very important. I eat, shit, and breathe liberation all day. I'm in my bedroom. You can look behind. I got 3-4 posters. I sleep with these ancestors around. You know, and you know, once again, some people say that they don't work. I don't have nothing against that, but I don't have to work. I really don't. I'm good. I've worked 20 years in juvenile corrections, but I do that each day in case one of y'all may want to come up here, need help on hotel accommodations, stuff like that, stuff to keep us going, because everybody can't afford to fly over this goddamn country. Everybody can't afford to do that. And if we don't assist one another, then who are we assisting for real?
That's right. For sure.
Right on, Queen. Oh,
And
y'all both are gonna be-
my comment really came. Well, my comment came because just things that I've witnessed. I didn't know that it was even a conversation because, you know, I didn't realize that I grew up Black privilege. So interacting with white people, I didn't have to. And when I did, you know, like it just, I didn't realize that it was even a conversation until I realized it was a conversation. And when I realized it was a conversation, it was very real. And I'll leave it at that. But I've watched some major movement around child and human trafficking in the Atlanta area. And one of my Black friends, I don't want to say his name because he was on major media outlets, was the face of it. And there were hundreds of organizations donating, banks, everything. They'd have their logos up. I've been on tours. And out of nowhere, they started leaking some of the locations. Why? Because some of the donors were the traffickers. So it don't, you know, I'm not saying this ain't to taint your views on anyone. This ain't to taint your perspectives on anything. All that I'll say is when you are docile or deemed docile, not ignorant, not unintelligent, but when you're just like, these are my friends, these are my people, when you don't seem like you're a threat to whatever the social norm is, then you're not a threat. But once you start actually making a difference and those numbers start decreasing, and however they're making their money starts to show up, you know, because it's, you know, like when I tell people my ex-boyfriend gave me $500,000 and I was launching these businesses, people be like, oh, he gave you $500,000. When I realized that he was using my businesses to run his drug ring, it was totally different conversation, because $500,000 was like a dime in the amount of money.
Not to me.
Well, what I'm saying is it was like a dime. I was doing a lot in the community, but for the amount of money that he was making, it was a dime.
Okay, let me ask you this, Shante. I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but let me ask you this now. You say you never done drugs, right?
No.
And I hear a lot of people say that. But if you was dealing with somebody that was a drug trafficker, you was a conspirator. So you use drugs too. Number two.
But I was never around. Hold on. So when I met him, he had went to prison when he was 19, and it was because he was actually out of the state, and his car was found with drugs in them, and he was unwilling to.
So he wasn't a drug dealer.
Well, I don't know. He went to prison for drugs.
Okay, that's cool.
I've never
That's cool.
seen drugs.
Okay, now when we say this is why we have to be mindful with what we say, whether our intentions are good, and I know you mean well, but when you say that I didn't know I was privileged, now you have to pay attention. This is just to help you. Now all of us are slaves. Now, the only slaves that were privileged were who?
The ones that didn't know they were slaves.
No, the house slaves.
The house nigga.
Them the only ones that had. Them the only ones that were privileged.
The house nigga.
See, and these are just things that we need to be mindful of. To better term that, and I know you didn't mean it. The better term that would be, I didn't know I was fortunate, or I didn't realize what poor was until I actually went down in the hood and saw poverty at its finest.
No, that's not even. So here's the deal. We lived in a 3-bedroom house that my grandparents had raised 10 kids in.
Okay.
10 in a 3-bedroom house in the country. I grew up on dirt roads with ditches and things like that.
Oh, okay. So that's not okay. I thought you were talking about.
Hold on.
I thought you were talking about the silver spoon privilege. Okay.
No,
okay.
we acquired 20 acres
cool.
of land. We had no running water. But I was the black kid in the school because outside of my relatives. So moving from the Michigan to the South, because everybody in my community was black. We lived in a small black community where my relatives were American Indians. So we had land, and we all had land.
Right.
And because everybody worked in Michigan, everybody works with factories. So everybody has cars and everybody has a 401k because of the way that the state is designed, the public policy, to learn to cook, to have access to food, to have access to resources, because we lived in an all black community where my grandmother would line dry laundry and everything else. Like, no, you don't know that it's a privilege that we own land. When the Klan tried to move in and threatened to kill my grandmother went and picked up a second job and went and bought the land from under their house. So when I experienced racism, my grandmother would bring her pistol to the school and threaten to kill all of them because she owned their land and their property. So I didn't experience racism for real until I moved from Michigan to this all white state. Like, Michigan's a very white state. There's black people there. You know about Detroit, but you start going into some of those country towns, and there ain't nobody who look like you.
So you were talking more racism opposed to a class system, because
both.
Now I'll tell you this, huh?
Like both, because like my uncles are found. I got an uncle that's the founder of a Omega chapter, an uncle that's the founder of a Kappa chapter. I had the ability to pledge, AKA, and I didn't. I declined it. But I had the dad that dropped out of school at 13, and my mother was a teenage mom who built planes for a living for Gulfstream and made 6 figures in a time that there was a male-dominated industry. So what I mean by that is all of my friends in Savannah, all of my friends, their families had houses and they were from 2 black parents.
Okay.
So I didn't know that was privilege because all I saw, even the single parents, they worked 2 or 3 jobs and they had ownership and they had things. I lived in black areas. It wasn't until I moved to Atlanta, and actually I was doing some self-help at Landmark Education, and the guy said, "Oh, you're multicultural." I was like, "I'm half black and I'm half black," because I didn't have to associate with white people. Not saying I ain't have any white peeps, but there was an extent of our relationship. Like, I wasn't going to their house at Thanksgiving. They weren't coming to mine. There were invites. I've been to country clubs with white people, but they weren't my day-to-day because I might wear big hair. I might wear big hoop earrings, and I might organize a book drive in the hood. I might, with the 500,000, like, I hired people. So you hear 500,000, but you aren't looking at the fact that I had 10 people on my staff. That's 10 households that I'm feeding every month. That's not including the people who are in active addiction that I'm hiring to do my painting, to pull my weeds. That's not including the community programs. That's not including me feeding the community. So people look at things like that, and that's not including me losing my apartment, not houses, my apartments, and not having anyone to call if I needed food to feed me or my child. So if I feel like going and spending $100 or $200 on a sweater for a day, guess what? I'm going to spend it because I just paid for 10 people's households to have whatever they need. And if they came to me need anything else, I'd figure out a way to get it for them too. So I've been doing this for a long time. And that might be privilege, that might be a house mentality, but we look at the overall number and now what people are doing. And I wasn't accepting any money from any, like I was working 2 and 3 jobs at a time.
Okay, so, I understand. I understand all that, but we're trying to come to a conclusion because all of us have been privileged. I've been privileged too. I've been privileged to survive welfare, food stamps, the hood. So, I've been privileged too. But how does that play into what we need to do today? How does that play in where we're trying to go? We all have these experiences. We all have traumas, and we all are still in struggling and wrestling with certain demons and trying to suppress, certain urges and temptations and what have you. But what can we do collectively, so we can grow? What can I do to make this show grow? What can I do to help Cola's show grow? How can we put together something to help Elaine with the her program? And this is what I brainstorm with day and night, because I don't pray that I hit no number and no Powerball, no shit like that. That's not gonna happen for me. That's just the reality of things, because really I didn't hit the number being on this live. That's hitting the lottery for me. That's the jackpot, to find some people that are like-minded, that have that same compassion for change. And everybody has their own way of going about to make their contributions. Everybody has their own personal way to make their contributions. We all not gonna do everything alike. That's not how life consists of, because you're dealing with 6 different energies, 6 different vibrations, 6 different attitudes, 6 different emotions, 6 different mentalities, 6 different traumas, 6 different issues, 6 different problems, 6 different challenges, 24/7, period. But how we all have a lot in common, because we wouldn't be here with bringing our divine energies and spirits and having our souls gather at this build if it was for a worthless cause. And so we have to, whether y'all will like me or hate me or whatever, I'm gonna help you get some thick skin. I'd rather for you to cuss me out all the way till you get to where you're going, than to pacify you into death. I'm just not cut that way. I wasn't trained that way, and I'm not going out that way. And those that are willing to take this mission and this journey, going to have to learn that you're going to be scorned, ridiculed, shitted on, lied on, talked about, stabbed in the back, betrayed. You're going to put your trust in some of the wrong people. This is part of the journey. And so if you're not built for it, because, the mouth can say we can talk some delicious shit. We can sell ice to Eskimos. We can do all of that. But when the going gets tough, how tough are you to get going? That's the focus. That's the focus. Yeah, it's 6 different
Sure.
people with 6 different talents, 6 different businesses, 6 different gifts. And this is why, once again, I'm gonna go back to the Sister Cole. You can learn. I mean, from a woman's, y'all can learn a lot from the young woman. I think she's about 700 or 800 years old, but you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot. I mean, she knows exactly what I'm talking about, but you can learn a lot. People can learn business aspects from Shantae. People can learn. We really gonna blow you up, our set. So, you just gotta take instructions. That's the thing. Take some instructions, because when I come to you and give you some direction or suggestions, it's just out of love. I want to see people in their greatest mode. I want to see people shine. I want all the people that counted y'all out. I want them to swallow their goddamn tongues when they watch you, when they see you rise like that. But it takes determination. It takes courage. It takes power. Sister Elaine, when I first watched my Alpha 21, I was like, she's in North Carolina. I said, damn. And I was on the lecture circuit. I was going, me and Seti and others, we were going to North Carolina doing lectures at NC State and all these different colleges and stuff and dorm. And I said, I hope I run into that sister one day, because I watched that when it came out years ago, but I watched it about 7 or 8 times, and I started making copies of it and giving it away. I was having DVDs. Y'all need to watch this. Y'all need to watch this, sister, blah, blah, blah. Now, but as her being patient, people starting to recognize what's going on there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when each live video I do, and for future references, I'll set and call your lives may not even have an effect on people until 2028 and beyond. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that it takes a lot to de-slave a mind, to decolonize the mind. It takes a great deal of patience, tolerance, and perseverance, because our people are tore up from the floor. We just dress our pain up. We make our captivity look sweet. We make it look good. Mm-hmm. And finally, the black business thing. You got a black business, but I don't support all black businesses, because I'm going to tell you 2 personal experiences I had with supporting black business. Now I still support them. I just, I got my people who I support. But I saw that they weren't giving nothing back in the community, and that the money a lot of people spent in black-owned businesses, they were spending it. They were taking the profits and the proceeds, spending with the oppressors. In other words, you buy a big bottle of Moringa Detox Bitters, some black seed oil, 3 ounce, and a red, black, and green flag. They'll take that money and go buy a Louis Vuitton purse. That's not supporting black business. I don't support that. I don't ride with that. I don't ride with that. Now, if I was to donate to one of y'all, I can expect to see some changes or change in it could be anything. It could be African attire, it could be anything. That's supporting black business. Mm-hmm. That means blacks mean business. They're not playing. Right. That's all it means.
Yeah.
And we gotta be straight up. And Sister Cole was saying, this the year of truth. Everything is coming out. Everything is coming out. And the people that have been grinding, the people that have been in the mud, the people that have been shitted on, ignored, that's been pushing and fighting all these years, are rising up, getting their just due. Because the Bible said the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. All of us were counted out in some form. And sometimes, whether it's through family, relationship, career-wise, all of us have been put on some back burner at some point based on who we are. And now things are starting to change now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. I just
Go
want to
ahead.
say one thing. I
Go
am
ahead.
so sorry. I am so sorry. I just went overboard. I apologize to you, Shantae. Um, I will consider what you said. I will look into it. And, but, I've already made up my mind how it's going to do this. And I really thank you for your input. And, like I say, we just have to support each other. That's what I have to say. Like I said, I have been supporting myself in my organization and my business. I've been paying for it by myself. I have been receiving money from other people, and the money is in the bank, because I know what I'm looking for. I know what I need to do. I really do. And again, I apologize to you. I apologize to everybody. I didn't mean to go off like that. That's not my nature. Okay?
Oh, it's
You
no
You're a
worries.
fiery spirit, but
Yeah,
Shantae's she's a big strong woman. She done been through some shit. She's a strong woman. She knows where your heart is for real.
And I understand why you got offended. I get it, because the whole thing is I get both of you guys' points. All she's saying is, long as it ain't coming with a plot and a script. But you're saying I'm gonna take what's being, because that may be your blessing. I've had Asian woman walk up in the store and gave me $500 because the man ran off with my car money. I was kind of telling her about it, and she came back in my store, the store I was working in, and just slid me an envelope from the bank and said, just because I gave an old lady, she an Asian lady, but she old. She said, just the fact that you took time to talk to an elder, I want to bless you. Because some people ignore, people in the community. So the blessing can come from anywhere. Devils give blessings also, but it just as long as you still have your autonomy. That's all I think Shantae and Tashaka was saying, brother Tashaka was saying. But I get it. You got to get it how you live.
Right. And no matter what, it's your dream. It's your dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't expect for nobody to, fulfill my dream or to understand my dream except for me, because it's mine.
Mm-hmm. And keep
And I
manifesting
can't,
that.
I think I got a little upset because it sounds like, oh my God, I can't let nobody take my dream. This is my dream.
And hold your vision.
And we have to allow
Again,
each
I
other.
apologize.
Yeah.
We
have to allow each other.
All I'm gonna say is, if God gives you a vision, He'll always make provision.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And all I ever share is my experience. I'm 44, and I've been doing business since 28. I didn't have my first breakdown until 28. And so it's like I just share my experience. That's it. And I've been around some, I've been in some spaces. I've been in mansions and I've been street level homeless. So, I've been in some spaces, and I am not, and hopefully I'll never be the person to tear another person down, especially a Black woman. And I think so often in our community, we get so used to people tearing us down. And at some point, I was going to test for Mensa, which is above average IQs, because everybody in my circle were members of Mensa. And I like to be the dumbest person in any room. So I'll never put on display or take away from another person's intellect or anything like that. But in this process, everything that we've ever been taught, you got to be willing to unlearn it, because you never know. And to get to the next level, sometimes it's in something that you don't know. And it's never to say that you're ignorant or you're like, I know what the words and the language that they use, because I know you personally, Elaine, we talk. And you're not that. You're a very intellectual, smart, wise woman. And, you know, so there's just there's so many conversations.
Okay. So as you know, that I can get offended by some words too, because I was labeled as feeble-minded. Okay, so when we use some words like docile and whatever, I'm like, wait a minute. But anyway, that's here or there. I apologize.
No, then if you then say you offended me, when you
I
said
love
docile.
you.
Like, no, that's when you're being docile,
like
Elaine.
I say, and I'm gonna continue.
Elaine, don't apologize. There's nothing for you to apologize for.
No, it is. It's not. It's not.
Right.
If I said
But you got to remember though, those you got to remember those are your triggers though.
Docile. Right. Then
but those are her triggers because of that's early childhood trauma. Yeah, those are just triggers. But now, Elaine, if you let if words can take you off your base, how good are you going to be able to stand up against the real forces?
If I said docile and that offends you call me on that.
Okay. Right. Okay. I have been doing this since I was 19 years old.
Right.
I have been doing this since I was 19. I have stood up in front of the whole world and showed them that I was not what they claimed that I was. I am 70 years old now, and I am still fighting. And it's so much. My most offensive moment tonight was about my children. And that's it. Real good. That's it. And if I can support anyone with anything, just let me know. Because I want to change the subject. I want to support Black businesses. And I want to show us how to support our businesses. And I think I said that before. I can take care of me and mine, but I don't mind helping you with yours. And it's just that simple. So, Miss Tanya, if you have products that you want to sell, I have a lot of people using my website, or using my Facebook page or whatever. All you have to do is post your products on my page.
Wow.
And you can send me a list of your products. And I will buy some of your products. That is what you call supporting each other.
That's called networking. It's going.
Exactly. This is what we do.
Marketing. That's right.
That's how you get it going. And this is what we have to do. It's called support.
And I will support you in your endeavors also. That's how you do.
Right. And the thing is, it's not, this is what we do. We have a tendency, and I'm not talking about you, Shantae, please.
I don't get offended easily.
Black people have well, it depends on whatever. But anyway, Black people have a tendency of breaking each other down. Like I was saying before, in the Black neighborhood, you can have a store over here, you can have an Arab store over here. And what we would do is we would visit the Arab, not knowing that these are the people that sold us into enslavement. Not knowing that these are the people that hate our gut, but we would rather take the money and spend it with him so he can take it into another neighborhood. We would rather go into the white man's neighborhood and spend money with them before we spend money in our neighborhood. A good example is our churches. Where's the money? They would take the money and put it into a white bank.
Right.
But they don't never put the money back into the neighborhood. You will go and support them, but they would take the money out of your neighborhood and put it in a white bank where the bankers are white and they loan the money and raise interest on what you borrow. And then if you went and tried to borrow money from them, they won't even loan you no money.
Nope.
So here's what we're saying is we have to start recognizing our own. Instead of walking past the store, drop in. And I have very thick skin.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what can change or shift the consciousness of people having those idiocracies, jealousies? I know we can empower each other, but what are things that we can do as not just us six, but a collective energy that we put out to heal ourselves so we don't have to have those little petty things and nuances and stuff, come with empowerment, so that's why, like Brother Tashaka said, is what you also can give to the community. That's why I don't trip off if people tip me and all of that on my lives, because I do those things. That's my labor of love, to give information that I generally teach classes doing, because I want to be able to connect and help people with their mental and emotional and spiritual well-being, because there's people that's really, tripped out right now and they don't know what's going on, what's going to happen. They see other people thriving while they may not be thriving. So it creates, even the Facebook thing, when Brother Tashaka was talking about, he don't see the support on Facebook. That's because years ago, people kept photo albums, and you chose to look in the photo album when you visited people that you go to their house. They have big photo albums, and you could choose to look in it, or you could choose to not look in it. When things on Facebook and social media is forced into people's face, so they can't help but maybe feel certain ways when they're not. And that's not to say that we have to be responsible for people's emotions, but those are things that we sometimes need to bring to the light for healing. We got to start calling each other on stuff and being accountable so that we can heal and let people know it's okay. We can't attack Elaine because she feels a certain way, because we're going to be supportive and make sure it's a safe space. That's why we say you don't have to apologize. It's a safe space so we can get to be better. We all have certain things we feel, but we have to embrace each other even in so-called weak moments so that we can grow in love, and that's how we get through that. But, what other solutions, though, could we do as individuals and collectively to start trying to bring another consciousness out there back to the love, like when we really loved each other, you know what I mean? Like the Black love,
Well,
Absolutely.
here's what I do. I don't care what happened. I was totally thrown off. Okay. But I am such a loving person, and I always believe in extending my hand. I don't care how bad a person is or where they're at or whatever. Even if they are living under a bridge, I would go out there. Let me tell you, I go out there when I see people out there, homeless people. I go out there and I feed them. I'm not ashamed of going out and extending my hand and showing them that somebody cares. I love you. Here, take this. This is what we have to do. Even if we, no matter how a person's mental being is, we still have to tell them that they're worthy of love. And this is me. This is me. This is me. And I can't change that. I am a happy person. I am I don't know what you want to call me, but I am happy because I see what it is and I know what we have to do. We have to just talk, and we have to do, was it John the Baptist, 1st, 2nd John? The only thing we have to do is love each other. Love each other. No matter where or what condition a person in, we have to love each other. Just love each other. That's all. What else can you do? You can support them, but you support them with love.
That's right. I agree with you.
Teach one.
You endowed your
Teach
son.
one. Teach one.
Elaine,
Each
you
one
endowed
pull the other one up.
Elaine, you endowed your son with it because he is in Africa and Congo, and he building wells and stuff for people there, and he ain't charging them anything.
That's awesome.
He ain't doing nothing like that.
Huh?
He got his mother's way. He have his mother's way.
That's what I said. You endowed him with it. That's right. So you don't have to explain it. I told you all illuminate your beauty because it's the things that come out your mouth and the things that you do and the people you can see around you. They emulate what they see.
Yeah, well, I'm going to Ghana.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ghana in March, by the way, and
Great.
I think I'm going to build a hotel in Ghana. You know, that's going to be my business.
That's
You know,
excellent.
that's going to be my
Yeah,
business.
that's right.
Yeah, I
Yes,
have a little
yes. So
cousin over there
everybody,
now. I got a cousin over there now. He just married into a family, so we have an extended Ghana family over there. So they're he's learning to build homes. He's learning to build homes
yes, yes.
there now, and that's going to be his business. And I told him once he gets
My
everything started,
my
that
son
I'm supposed to be going
my
over there.
son just got married over there too.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
Oh
my
no,
Oh yeah,
we might all touch
yeah.
down
Yeah,
and
that's
see each other over
congratulations
there.
then.
right, right.
Might be
Yeah,
something.
congratulations to that
My
brother.
son,
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yes,
congratulations.
my
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he just got married over
absolutely.
there too. Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
you know that's what it is.
Or you can tell them
Yeah,
He
your
was showing
extended
me
family.
pictures of the bride.
You can tell them your
yeah.
extended family from here
Yeah,
said
Yes.
congratulations.
And
Right.
just to give a
thank you.
testimony to that, my cousin is 30, maybe 33 years old, so he's fairly young, and I'm looking across the board, and a lot of our young people are reconnecting back into Africa, starting
With,
families,
yes,
getting married, even got over there before I got there, and I was responsible for having to teach him about it.
listen. Here
Incredible.
is the saying. Here is the thing. You know, I wasn't born in Africa, but Africa is born in me.
Absolutely. All of us. Yes,
Absolutely.
indeed.
And all of us. Africa
Yes.
is born in all, and that's why we have this. Listen, my son said that when he married his wife just recently, a couple of weeks ago, he said their whole everything is different. The ancestors, the elderlies took the woman in for 2 weeks and
Mhm.
they bathed her down in all kinds of herbs, you know?
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
and these are things that we are missing. See, we have
That's
missed the
very.
connection. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, I've never lost the connection with my ancestors,
Right. I don't
and
think
I never
so either.
will. I
I don't
never
feel so.
will. I have that connection.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
But
what?
getting back to the business,
Something
Mhm.
was stated though that when you're talking about Africa, and I think your son quoted it. He said that Malcolm X said that a guy walked up to him and said he don't want to go back to Africa, and then
he don't.
and Malcolm X told him, said your mind is in Africa,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he
Right.
did. He said that.
and
He
that's a
said that. He said that.
and that's a quote that every one of us should be
We
mindful of
left our
because
minds in Africa.
exactly because the
Mhm.
fact of the matter is that those are people that we are originating from, and we don't
Even
Exactly.
look at it
I
like
think even the ones that claim to have the American Indian heritage
right.
need to get that DNA.
Still come from Africa.
Need to get that
But
DNA and see
all of
what
them
it
came
says.
from Africa. Even Asians.
That's a
right.
whole
Even
nother show.
Asians.
Maybe we can deal
Yeah,
with
that's
that one
right.
That's a
time
whole
too.
nother. Wait a minute. Since we done got on this show, I mean, wait a minute. Hold on. You know they didn't bring anybody over here.
Right.
They didn't bring anybody over here. They brought a specific person over here. They brought the Jesus people over here, the Hebrew Israelites over here, and they were specific people that they brought over here. And then not only did they brainwash us, they sent us into, they gave us something for us to create amnesia.
That's right.
So but the thing is with me, it didn't work because I still have that in my heart. You know, we are suffering from amnesia.
In all of these
And that's
areas,
something.
business,
And
we talked about love last week, business this week, whatever it is next week, it's all a product of amnesia.
yes, ma'am. But we're remembering.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. We're
Yeah.
remembering.
Remembering. Exactly.
You know what happened, who we are, where we come from. You know, those people over there that claims that they are Hebrew Israelites, read the Bible. It'll tell you that they are not the people, that they are the people, the synagogue of Satan. Why do you think they're having those wars over there now?
Right.
You know, anytime Black people become awoke or awakened, there's going to always be a war, because we're connecting with the land. We know our identity now, and that's the reason for the war. That's the most held secret within the United States.
Yeah.
They never wanted us to know who we are,
Which
and
is
now
why
it has been exposed.
Yep. Which is why
Now it's been
it's
exposed.
the last
Yes.
thing that we should do is to continue to perpetuate ourselves in this country as anything other than what we are, African people.
That's right.
You know,
Mhm.
period. So
You
on
know,
that note,
Well, then that would mean that
we
Native
have
Americans
our
are
last
African people.
remarks.
I
We're
claim
gonna
that
go
I
around
am.
and have our last remarks from
I'm
everybody,
Black and Native American and other
and
things as
then
well.
we'll wrap
I'm
it up.
Black. You know, I'm
I
just
have
saying.
I
I
hear
don't
a
understand the war between Black people and all of that stuff. I don't believe that Blacks never was from Africa. That's all foolishness. But I mean, it's foolish also to say that we wasn't mixed in some kind of way with slavery, with all of the rapes and stuff that was going on. So that's crazy. So Native American, I'm from Southeast Texas. I know people that's in my family on both sides. But my point is, I don't believe all of this stuff about, it's hard for me to reconcile that. Like to say that we don't have no Black, we're not African at all, we're just Native American. I don't believe that. That don't sit right with me.
I don't either.
They don't sit right with my
well,
spirit.
we have to remember who the Native Americans are
Right.
also.
Yeah, they
See,
did.
Native Americans are Africans, Asian
Right.
Africans.
Right.
Okay, so we have to remember that. But what happened, if you really want to know what happened when Moses split the Red Sea, when they was told that the Greek and the Romans was coming to kill them, they
Well,
walked right through that sea. You know, we were here how many years? How many years? We've been here for so many years, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And then what happened was the Native American, the African Native Indian mixed with these people here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, we got in bed with the devil. And the Bible tells you that we shouldn't do that. But we did it anyway.
Yes.
well, I'm not to elude the topic, but just to reiterate on what we were talking about as far as giving in the community, Sister Elaine and Brother Gerald, without their presence, fed nearly 100 people in DC about maybe 3 weeks ago. Brother Gerald supplied the food. Sister Elaine supplied the gas money and the bread. So a lot of people ate. And you don't have to be there. You don't even have to have your presence to make a presence. You don't have to be there to make an impact on what needs to be done. Our people are dying out here. Our people are starving. They're hungry. They're freezing to death. They're not reporting a lot of murders, kidnappings, child trafficking. I'm going to talk about tomorrow about Sister Shantae sent me something on child trafficking. I'm digging that pretty hard. We have to just remain focused on what we need to do. The impact that we're going to have to make, the shackles, the mental shackles that our people have, that some of us actually have keys to, but we have to know and use discernment on who wants to actually be free. Because even during physical chattel slavery, when they got a hold of some keys, a lot of people didn't want the shackles off. They told everybody, y'all go ahead. I'm comfortable here. They got cornbread and bacon tomorrow, and I'm not gonna miss this shit, trying to escape. And we have the same mentalities today. And so,
Right.
it's important that Elaine was talking about this love, self-love has to be implemented. And before you can even love yourself, you have to have a purging of yourself. And that's what Sister Cole was talking about. We cannot be effective in your household, with yourself, with the community, until you are thoroughly cleansed of a lot of things that's going to prohibit that energy from making that divine connection with the universe. It's very simple. It's very simple. And I learned a lot from all of you. All of you bring something to the table. And we just need to continue to keep having these think tanks, having these sessions, these underground sessions in the woods on how we can come up with some plans to get our people off these plantations. And I'm not talking about the workforce. I'm not talking about people that go to work. I'm just talking about the mental, emotional, and spiritual confinement
take care of yourself.
And colonization that we're under.
Right.
And it's very, very serious. I know I can expect in Baltimore tonight, there's going to be carjackings up the ass because the Ravens lost.
And
the games was fixed and all that. I'm going to touch on that tomorrow too.
For sure.
How they set that whole play up.
Yeah.
The another emasculization, national emasculization of a black man. That he will never. We're not going to let you go all the way to the top. You can get close, and we'll give you some hope that you can reach the top. But nah, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So those things, man, we need to touch on. I'm gonna be on Sister Cola's show tomorrow evening. I'm gonna put fire to that show.
Including I said, right on. Thank you.
Indeed. Yes. Before we wrap it up, I also wanted to make that announcement about Sister Cola's Metaphysical Monday show. I wanted her to go ahead and talk about what time it's going to air, the channel and everything. Sister Cola, you want to go ahead and talk about that?
Well, right now, until I start my streaming, it's going to be on Facebook on Souljet Tarot. I have Metaphysical Monday every Monday. Sometime I'll take breaks, but I've been doing it since last June. And it's been pretty powerful. What it's really about is reaching out to people that I've seen that's doing powerful things, but they're not like giving their flowers. They're not, I'll see like powerful people. I'm a community supporter all the way. And that's why I'm supported too, because I buy things from people and they buy it from me, but all around the board, I see guys and women and men saying things and they get 1 like, 2 likes, no likes. And they do this for years. I see that they have intelligence and something to bring. Some of them may get a lot of likes, but it's not even about that. It's just about an awareness, and it deals with esoteric, culture, community, and spirituality. Any of those subjects, even hip hop, because I'm a hip hopper. You know what I mean? So if somebody got something they can even add to MCing, a master of ceremonies, the spoken word, I'm with all of that. But it's just basically a way, and I advertise. I even do clips, and I run them through YouTube and TikTok and different stuff, and that's just to bring more awareness to whatever your message is. So if there's people that want to be on, I need more sisters. It's like the sisters are real shy, but I need more sisters that do want to be. I've had a few women on there, but some of them started, backing up, because what I want people to know is you don't have to be no top metaphysician. You ain't got to be none of that. Be who you are, because we need everything in the community. It's not about, I don't know that or that. It's not about that. I do what I do, and everybody do what they do, and we need community stuff, conversations, that's day-to-day stuff. It's not about just only metaphysics and spirituality. We need all of those things, but we also need to know that the day-to-day stuff, like getting our minds right, just stuff like that, or just things that's resources that's out there. Like they do have programs where there's rich Black people that give money to Black causes. So it's things out there. We just have to, just do the science on it. But that's what it is. Anybody that want to come on, it's the same thing. I either ask you or you can ask me. If you feel like, hey, I want to, if you got a cause, a flyer or something, I always run it through my stories. I get a lot of views on all my stories. So if somebody has something they want me to put on the stories, it ain't no fee for that or nothing. People say, oh, do I have to pay to be on Melon? No, it's nothing like that. And, just tap in. Tomorrow the show is going to start at 9 East Coast time, but that's 8, which is I'm going off Texas time. So, and then that would be, I guess, 6 at Cali PST time. And then so Brother Tashaka is going to open up, or he's going to be the first guest, and then he's going to do a 30-minute segment, and then Queen, I'm going to let her go, and she can do 30 to an hour with however long. I didn't want to take up too much of Brother Tashaka's time, but I'm not, and that's pretty much it. And I do Tarot Talk Thursdays. And the reason why I do those 2 different things, everybody don't have to be into what I'm doing. This is the way I make a living. This is my job. Tarot and spirituality and stuff. That's something I've been doing for 25 years. But I also bring metaphysical and spiritual knowledge at a deep level and listen to other people too, so that you can learn those things. You don't have to tap into the other stuff that I'm doing. It don't matter. But there's people that's just there for tarot and they don't want to hear the other stuff, and that's cool too, So, but that's just another option, just like brother, just bringing awareness, So, and thank you for letting me, build on that, Queen.
Sure, absolutely. Every time we're on Sunday, you'll definitely take your segment just to talk about your Monday show, and we just build each other up that way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I am so privileged and happy that I got one of those invitations to speak at Medical Monday. So I will be there for my segment after Brother Tashaka. And it's going to be a surprise what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to bring the shock factor.
I'm gonna play a couple of songs.
I'm going to bring the taboo.
I'm gonna play a couple of songs.
I'm waiting for that opportunity. Yes.
Well,
And
y'all
so,
can invite me anytime. Anytime I am willing. But I also want to tell you about the Million Women's March that's going to be happening in March. And I hope that I'm sure you've heard of that, right? The Million Women's March.
I haven't heard.
Yes, but I didn't know it was coming so soon in March. I started hearing about it a little bit last year.
If I am not in Ghana, we're going to be marching on the United Nations again. Here comes the United Nations. And then in October, we're going to be in Washington, D.C. So I get to meet a lot of people.
I hope you all come to Washington on the 17th of February.
Definitely need to come.
The 17th of February. Send me the information. I can come.
Okay.
And I, like I said, Tanya,
yes,
you can put your stuff on my Facebook page. Everybody, whoever want to post it on my Facebook page, you're more than welcome to. I would like to see your products. I would like to buy some products. And if anybody can help me with getting my head right, I would love that. I'm not ashamed.
Awesome.
Let me see.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you're very welcome. Hit you up outside, off
yeah,
of,
I sent you a friend request, by the way. So, yeah, you. I have so many people on my page. Yeah.
Tanya.
And what else did I want to say? I'm just happy.
You're joyful.
I actually am so very happy. Thank you for everyone coming on tonight. Is there any closing remarks anyone else would like to say before we close out?
I want to say something to you, Queen. Sure. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, would you be willing one time to do like a little build on how we can put our books out and stuff like that? Like Absolutely. How you were speaking, if you have knowledge on it and stuff, that may be something that can help me and a lot of other people that may be, and even Shantae have knowledge on that, but just something that shows how to, just stuff like formatting it.
I
formatting.
actually was
you
just
know.
thinking about that the other day, how I would share that. So I'm glad that you touched base on that.
Mhm.
Yes, I certainly will.
Yeah, Sister Cola, remind me this week to send you that book, Dawa's book.
Oh, please. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I brought it up in me and Ishmael's first interview. Well, no, the last one in December. And we just kind of chuckled. But I had no idea that brother passed. Me and Ishmael kind of chuckled about it because he said, "What? A definition of what?" I said, "Oh, you never seen it?" You know, I didn't want to go too deep because I didn't know who was watching the live. So we just kind of laughed about it. And I told him where he could find the lecture about brother Dawa. So thank you. I appreciate that. For real. Oh, man.
Yes, yes.
Can y'all put the link for the show tomorrow in the chat?
It's just on Facebook, on Sojak Tarot, and I put it in the comments. It's I'll put it again.
All right,
Sojak
thanks.
Tarot. And
That's at 9. That's 9 Eastern Standard Time. That's 9.
Yeah.
9 o'clock,
Yeah.
9 p.m.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go on at
Yeah,
6,
she put it in the
between
chat
6 and
to spell it.
6:30. I should be off at 8:30 and preparing for
Okay.
Cola's show.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me see it out here.
So that's a wrap up, Brother Gerald. You got any closing remarks? Thanks for coming
Yeah,
on.
I just want to say I want to thank you, beautiful queens, for your comments tonight. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the build that we did tonight. Enjoyed your energy. I enjoyed you all spirit, and hope we can continue this on for as long as we're around.
Yes.
I hope the
Thank
ancestors
you.
continue blessing you all, each and every
Thank
one of
you.
y'all.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
plus my brother,
Ashe.
my brother from
Brother
another mother.
Sankofa. Yay.
Ashe.
Ashe. So
Good night.
peace from the Tanya 23 experience.
Yes,
Ashe.
yes, indeed.
Peace and blessings.
Blessings.
Till next time.